Okay, cool. Well, hello everybody. My name is Kadron Abbott, and I am a software engineer at the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. And I want to first start off just getting to know everybody a little bit. If we can do a round of intros. I know that this is week 3 by now, so I'm sure you guys all know everybody at this point. But I'd love to hear from you guys, and I think maybe we can go around the room, say your name, where you're located, and maybe what you're hoping to get out of this this program that you're in. So maybe we can just popcorn. So after someone goes, then you could just name off another person. So I'm gonna pick on the person that's to the right of me on my screen, which is Lily. Would you mind going first?
Sure. My name's Lily. I'm from Redmond, Oregon, and I'm just hoping to get a better understanding of computer science.
And then you can also popcorn to somebody. So you can say, pass it on to, and then like choose a name.
Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick. I'm in Maple Grove, Minnesota, and I want to go into a career of computer science. Abby.
Hi, I'm Abby. I live in Auburn, Maine. I hope to see if I actually am interested in computer science out of this. Brett.
Hi, I'm Brett. I'm a junior at Green Lake High School, and I guess I'm kind of interested to see like what computer science all is and what kind of careers there are in the field of computer science. And Cole M.
All right, so I'm Cole. I live in Belleville, Wisconsin, which is about half an hour south of Madison, and I'm just trying to expand my knowledge of computer science. Ridley.
Oh, I think Ridley was chosen next. Do you want to do your intro real quick?
Oh, hello. Can you hear me? Oh God, the internet is so bad. Okay.
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Ridley, and I just want to see what all computer science kind of entails.
You want to popcorn over to somebody who hasn't gone, Ridley?
You were muted right after you said right when you said the name.
Micah.
I'm Micah.
Hello.
Yeah, so I'm Micah. I'm from El Paso, Illinois, and I kind of just want a better understanding of coding, I guess. And Betty.
My name's Betty. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I joined because I wanted to learn more about computer science. Oh, and Madison.
Hi, I'm Madison, and I'm from Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And the reason I joined this is to learn a bit more about computer science, coding languages that I was interested in beforehand, and to sort of expand on my knowledge in case I choose to go into this as a career later on. hasn't gone yet?
I think Mary hasn't gone yet.
Okay. You next, Nick.
Hello, my name is Mari, and I plan to become a professional hacker. I don't think Chip has gone yet.
Me? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Oh, hey Chip. I think
Hi.
you might have joined a little bit later, so we're just.
Oh no, I was
Q&A.
listening. I'm here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
My camera. I'm sorry you can't see me. My camera is not my friend. It won't turn on, but it's fine. I'm Chip, and I'm from Ohio, like North Ohio, and I joined to. I have a lot of life career choices. That like I want to do everything, so I want to figure out like if this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. I think we pretty much went through everyone, and also Mari, apologies for the name mispronunciation. Thanks for clarifying that in a graceful way. All right. So I think I'll just kind of outline what I'm hoping this session will kind of be. It was cool hearing from all of you and like what you guys were hoping to get out of this. And it seems like for pretty much everybody, it's just a really big learning experience, right? To see like what even is coding? What does a career as a software engineer even look like? Like, is it for me? Is it not? I don't know. So hopefully this program will, really be able to help you guys figure out some of those answers for yourself. So I'm going to go into a little bit of just like my background overall. So you guys know a little bit more about me. And then something that I thought could be fun is I saw that you guys are doing creating like a new tab page that has like a time and a date. And I thought that since today is, or since the topic of the week is like debugging and problem solving, maybe we could add a feature to that page together. And then as we get stuck on things or as we want to, kind of talk about adding more things on top of that, we can have a live discussion of like, okay, how would I go about doing this? Or like, oh, hey, this thing is broken or not acting the way I want it to. How do I fix it? Those are questions that I have to answer for myself just about every day as a software engineer. And so I think it'll be really cool to do that live. And another thing is I would love for this to be as like interactive as possible. So if you have any questions or you're confused about something or you want me to slow down or speed up, then please let me know. You can say it in the chat if you feel more comfortable, or you can unmute yourself and just tell me. Yeah, I want this to be super interactive. I don't want to just be talking at you. I want to talk with you guys. So a little bit of an intro. So I first started getting into computer science when I was in 10th grade. Actually, I took a foundations of programming class where we learned about basic logic stuff in Scratch. I don't know if all of you guys are familiar with Scratch or not. In the little reactions, can you do a yes or no or like a thumbs up or something? Are you guys familiar with Scratch? Okay, one person, two people, no. Okay, so Scratch is just this it's a website where you can drag and drop blocks of logic to build out different things. So some people make games, some people make little funny animations and stuff. I made a maze game with it, and it was pretty fun. You can also just Google it while you're on the call, Scratch. I think it's scratch. Yep, there it is, scratch.mit.edu. So you can kind of look at that while we're talking. But that's where I started. I didn't know anything about computers. I didn't know anything about programming. My teacher in 10th grade was like, you guys should start thinking about your majors and what you want to do for college. And I was like, I have zero clue. I know that I want to go to college because that's pretty much what everybody does, right? And I was like, okay, so I guess I'll go too, but I have no idea what I want to go for. I took so many different like career quizzes online, like what do I want to be when I grow up, and like stuff like that. And there was all kinds of things that popped up because I had a whole bunch of different like interests and things that I wanted to do. But I always knew that computers were pretty cool. When I was younger, and truthfully, still to this day, I play a lot of video games. um, and it was something that I was thinking like, oh, like I love video games. I love like computer stuff and like new tech in general. Like I'd love to learn a little bit more about it. So after that class in 10th grade, where I learned Scratch and a little tiny bit of Python, which is just it's a programming language. I know you guys have been using JavaScript, so it's just a different type of language in case you're not familiar with what Python is. Learn that, and then I was like, okay, this is super cool. I want to learn more about this. Like people can just like think of things and like type some stuff on a computer and make the computer like do whatever they want it to do, like, and get paid for it. That's crazy. I want to do that. And so I started looking into some like more opportunities and stuff that I could like use to learn more about that stuff, because my school didn't offer like AP computer science or any other computer courses. There was one, it was computing for college and careers, where they teach you how to use like Word and PowerPoint and stuff like that. But that wasn't really the computer stuff I was trying to get myself into. So I ended up getting an internship with a local company and doing like some web dev stuff, which it wasn't major web development things, but it was more so like, oh, hey, we have a blog post, like, why don't you edit the HTML in there to like give it like, you know, a big title or to like bold stuff. And I was like, okay, I could do that. So I made those like little those tags. For the class, is it were you talking about the like college for, or the computing for college thing with the Word? Yeah, it's I still don't know how to use Excel properly. I can do some of the like sum and like some of the formulas, but I still barely know how to use Excel, so don't worry. But yeah, so I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I got the internship where I was like editing like HTML blog posts and stuff, and I thought it was really cool, but I wanted to continue learning more. So I went to this like a camp that was like similar to what you guys are doing now, but it was in person for a week at the University of Alabama, and they taught us like a little bit of like Android app development. Truthfully, a lot of it went over my head, but I thought it was still pretty cool. And long story short, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go to school for computer science. So I do that, and throughout that whole process, I take some computer science classes, and I have a couple internships at different companies. One of them happens to be the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. And I started learning more about like web development and just like development in general, what like some best practices are, what kinds of things I could build. And as I learned more and more, I realized that I knew less and less. Like, because with programming, you can take it in so many different directions. You can do web development, kind of like the type of stuff that you guys are doing with this like new tab page, or you can like make apps, or you could do like AI, or you could do video games, or there's so many things that you can get into. And so I really tried to take a lot of time to like learn as much as I could from like different things, especially because I come from like I grew up in this place called Palm Coast, Florida, which is like, if you know anything about the geography of Florida, I'm right in between Jacksonville and Orlando. And there, it's a retirement town, so there's a lot of old people and not a whole lot of opportunity. And I had always heard of like like Silicon Valley, you know, and like there's like Facebook and Amazon and Google and like all these like crazy awesome places to work at. And I was like, you know what? Like, I think it would be really awesome to work there one day. Like, but it was kind of a like, I didn't think that it was going to be super realistic. I thought like, okay, you either have to be like, you know, insanely smart, like go to, you know, like an Ivy League school, or you have to, you know, have like a lot of money, or you had to have been like coding since you came out the womb. Like I thought all of the, like you had to at least hit one of those things in order to work at a place like that. Because the people that I grew up around, like nobody was doing the kinds of things that I was interested in doing, you know, like I didn't have any like examples or role models or mentors or anything like that. So it was really tough to see myself in a place like that, even though I knew that I really wanted to. I just figured it would take like several years of like a lot of hard work and like really trying to figure things out and stuff like that. But I mean, things ended up working out just because you know, I dedicated a lot of time to like learning stuff myself. I feel like a lot of the things that I learned were through like programs like this, or honestly YouTube. Like, or I would just Google like how to build blank, you know, and whatever it was. And then usually there's some sort of like tutorial of like someone like walking you through how to do that kind of stuff. And so I just did that and like learned as much as I could. And I'm happy to say that I'm, you know, working at a Bay Area company now, and it's really exciting. And I want, you know, if you take nothing away from what we talked about or do today, I want you to know that like it is totally possible, you know, for you guys to be able to like work at some of these places, to have like access to that sort of like opportunity. And yeah, I wish I had someone that, you know, could tell me that when I was, oh, I feel so old saying when I was your age. I'm not that old, I promise. But yeah, so that's kind of my background. I'm working at CZI now, Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, as on the trust team. So the kind of work that I do is a lot of like security and privacy related things. So one of my like projects that I'm working on currently is improving policies, which without getting too technical and boring, it's basically figuring out who should have like access to what sort of data or access to take a certain action on our website. And so like, for example, if you have like, I don't know, I can't really think of any examples off the top of my head, but there's certain access that like everybody should not be able to access, right? Only you or a certain group of people should be able to see. So I like make sure that all of that stuff is in line to make sure that the proper people are getting the proper access to things. So that's what I do now. I have a lot of like web dev experience though. But without any further ado, I think it'd be cool to hop into some like coding and stuff. But I wanted to open it up. Do you guys have any like questions or thoughts or anything like that for what I've said so far? And feel free to just unmute yourself if you do have a question. Okay. Also, I see that you guys have been utilizing the chat. Feel free to continue doing that too if you'd like, if that's more comfortable as opposed to unmuting. But okay, so now I would like to learn a little bit more about like how the progress is coming along with the new tab page that you guys are building. Like, has everyone gotten to the point where it at least shows like background, time, and date? Has everyone gotten there?
We have been doing a little bit of a problem solving approach. So they didn't build everything from the ground up. We provided like a starter, and then we were going to have, yesterday our target was like to add a feature to it. And it was like adding the weather API into the program itself. And,
oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So you guys have everybody already has weather on there?
We did. Everyone's still a little confused, so we're using the next week to do office hours to help them solve little problems. And yeah.
Okay. Cool. I mean, if it's okay with you, because I know that you guys have specific time for like office hours for that, but can we maybe walk through some of the like weather code together now to like make that happen on the page?
Yeah, I can show you a little bit of what we have been providing. Let me try sharing my screen. Yeah.
Has anybody while he's getting that pulled up, has anybody thought of any cool features that they would like to add but maybe just like don't know how to yet? I want to hear some of the ideas. Anybody have any ideas? Okay. All right, no worries.
Cole said,
okay.
Yeah.
Nice, adding links or images for frequently used sites. That's pretty cool. Okay, so
yesterday someone also said like you can have like your most frequently used bookmarks or like sites displaying on your new tab page.
Okay. I know that you guys said that you had like started the weather thing. Does everyone have like an okay idea of like what an API is yet? If not, then I'm more than happy to go over it. There's actually a video that
we did show that. We did show that.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Okay, awesome, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Wait, let me see this. So a feature I was thinking of would be having the background change themes depending on the time of day. That's pretty cool. And that's also totally doable. Yeah, these are awesome. Yeah, that's totally fine, Madison. I mean, it's definitely a learning, process. And I think the first step is just even like having an idea of like, okay, like, what do I even want to do? Like, what do I want to build? And then from there, you can like learn the things necessary. So like, you're going in the right direction on that. So that's cool. Okay, so maybe since you guys have a general like knowledge of how an API works, maybe we can actually code through this together. So there is, I don't know what API you guys were looking at using, but there's one I saw that is pretty simple to use. It's this link. Actually, let me get to a better link for you guys. This is probably a better one.
Do you want to share your screen?
Sure. Yeah, I can share my screen.
Okay.
But it says that you have to stop first.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me close out some of my work tabs and pull up this. I opened up a few things that I thought would be good. Okay, so what do you guys see right now? Can someone tell me so I make sure that I'm sharing my screen right?
Yeah,
I was trying to share just one window. Okay, do you guys see like my Spotify and stuff right now?
Nope.
Or do you see?
Just,
okay,
just
cool.
the window.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's see where to start. So I saw this, right, which this is pretty much where everybody is at, to my knowledge. They have a screen like this, right? Can I get like a thumbs up or yes or like something like that? Have you guys have this so far? Awesome. Okay, I can't see the view of my screen. I can't see everybody. I only see a handful. So I'm just going to go based off the handful that I see, and all of those people said yes. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just fork this, which essentially means I'm just copying over that all the code that was in that starter project, but I can make changes without it affecting other things. That's all that means. So it's like a fancy word for copy, but won't affect other things. So, all right. So it looks like we have, and if I oh, I have to press run. Here it is.
Yeah, if you just press run, it will show. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me move you guys down here so that I can see some of my screen. Okay, so this is what you guys have, right? And in here, we can see that there's like the time and the date, right? And we want something that ends up saying like weather here at some point. And I'll do another break just so that we have a space. And also, I would love it if you guys want to, it's not super necessary, but if you guys want to code along with me, hopefully by the end of this, we'll have some sort of weather for the area that you're in. And like I said in the beginning, please let me know if you have any questions or want me to slow down or speed up or anything like that. And also, because I'm in this like share screen format, I'm not going to be able to easily see the chat. So if someone says something in the chat, if someone else could like unmute and say like, hey, check the chat, or if you want to unmute and just say what you have to say, that works too. Okay, so the first thing is let's go ahead and open this link that I sent earlier and make an account really quick. So I'm already signed in, and I can actually go ahead and let's see. Actually, I don't know if I really want to make another account. I was gonna make one so that you guys can see it fresh, but I'll just like walk you guys through it. So once you sign in, or once you get signed up rather, then we're going to go to this little tab that says API. And I think wait, hold on, maybe I'm wrong. My API keys under here. And we're gonna generate one. And you can name it like weather or like new tab project or whatever you want to call it. It's your own thing. And we're gonna get something that looks like this. We're making our own because there's a limit on how many times it can be called. So every time you like load up the page to show the weather, it counts as one call. And on the free version, you only get like 60 per minute. And if we all use the same one, then someone would quite literally have to like pull out their card information and pay for it. So we're gonna keep this all free. And if you can create your own API key like this. Is everyone on the same page? Am I going too fast? Does everything make sense? Or is there anything that someone is confused on yet? I'll take the, I don't know if that's like, yeah, we're good to move on or not. Definitely, would love some more kind of, okay, cool. I see one yes. Like I said, I can only see a handful of people on the screen right now. So apologies if someone was like yelling at me.
Wait,
like, yes,
what's been happening for like the past like minute or two? My parents were talking to me.
No worries. We're gonna code together to create a like a weather to show the weather on the new page or the new tab page that you guys built. So there's a link in the chat to go to this like open weather map website, make an account and create an API key, which is just like this thing. And you can go here. Oh, well, I guess I'm already on the page, but if I start over, if I go here, then my API keys, then it should give me an option to generate one. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys do that if you haven't already. And so what this API key, what this API key is going to allow us to do is use this API. Without a key, like it's like we can't get into the API in a way. So all right, so we have this. We've added this like weather span here, and we want to have it show the weather somehow, right? But who knows how to do that? you know, especially if you're learning code for the first time, like how are you supposed to know where to even start? Like, what do you do? Does anyone have any ideas of like where we might be able to start? If not, that's totally okay. That's why we're all here to learn, right? So if you look in here, right, we have these this like scripts thing that, you know, gets it, it gets the time, and every 500 milliseconds, I think, then it like refreshes this to like show you the most like accurate time, right? I'm sure that you guys have seen this code already, especially since you already have all this stuff set up. But we're going to make something similar to this, but instead of putting it all into like one, instead of putting it all into one place, we're going to just create another file. So I'm going to add a file, and I'm going to call it weather.js.
Hi. So
Hey,
you
no
just
worries.
in a little bit.
Yeah, I can zoom in.
Okay,
Is that better?
yeah, that's fine. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So so we have this like weather.js file here, and we want to be able to like show some like weather info down here. I saw something in the chat. Where's the API key thing? So if you go here, if you're at the home page of this link that I sent before, then you can go down. Once you've made an account, you can go here and see my API keys. Click it, and then you should be able to generate one. And then it'll come up something like this. I'd name this default, but I can say like weather. I'll just say weather. So it doesn't matter what you name it. Just as long as you have something that looks like this, you're good. So, okay, so first things first, let's see if we can even get anything to show up here. I think that's a pretty good first step. Can't create an account, not 16 for weather. Oh, so you have to be 16 years old. Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay, well, I guess we can go ahead and
you can. I think the best way to go about this is we can potentially just follow along the rest of the project, and then we can share a key at the end if we need to test things out, and hopefully that'll make a quick little. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Cool. Well then, I'm going to also, I don't know if people are familiar with like what a class is yet. I know like some sort of like data structures and stuff might be confusing. I'm still learning even to this day. I'm just trying to think of like maybe the best way to create or to organize this. Sorry, there's a bug. Okay, so anyway, like I was saying, first things first, let's see if we can even get anything up on the screen. So we saw here that they have this like document.getElementById time, and then they like do this stuff, right? So this is something that you can do to like add stuff to the HTML through JavaScript. So they in this span here called with the ID time, that's where they're putting this like start time stuff. So we can just copy that for right now, but do weather, and we'll say some weather stuff goes here. And if we stop and run it, oh wait, hold on a second. Did I can I do that through here? Okay, so I'm a little rusty on my JavaScript. So let's see.
Did you include the weather JavaScript in the HTML file?
Yeah, I did.
No,
I added
the weather JavaScript file.
Oh yes, you're right. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay. I was trying to like take this step by step and I was like, what am I doing wrong? Okay, so cool. This is how you problem solve and debug live. you code pair with someone else who can help you out. So yeah, so we have this this weather JavaScript thing here, which means that this now will be like evaluated here. So now if we stop and run it, there we go. Okay, cool. So we have some weather stuff there, right? So we got something else on the page, which is awesome. Now we want it to actually be real weather stuff, right? And so also something else you can do is if you're like, oh, that's kind of like ugly compared to this stuff, you can always like go in and like copy some of the stuff and just change it to like weather, and then it'll be more consistent with the rest of what you have. Okay, cool. So now we have some weather stuff here. So now what we want to do is actually get the weather, right? So let's go ahead and say, let's see. There is this, there's some tools that are already like part of JavaScript that we can use to make calls to APIs. And one of those things is called fetch. And so I think, I'm trying to remember the syntax, but I think that basically it looks like, and everybody here is familiar with functions already? Yes, I'm assuming so. Okay. So basically, fetch will allow us to like fetch data from different APIs, and you want to put a some sort of like the API URL in here. Right now, this code doesn't know what the API URL is yet, but I just want you guys to know that this is what we're going to end up putting in here. If you look at, shoot, where, I didn't mean to go here. If you look at API and then API doc, you can see this is the link that we want in order to get the weather for whatever like city we're in. Excuse me. And it looks like it takes in a couple of parameters. So it looks like it has this Q parameter, which can be a city name, a state code, and country code. It's a bunch of different things. We're just going to use city name for now. And then there's an app ID, which is your API key. And then there's all of these like other extra things that we can like worry about later. So so what we want to do is I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. And I'm going to say like API URL. Oops, forgot. I could do. I'm just going to do let for now. So this is what this is going to kind of look like. We're going to have, and we're going to make this a string, sorry. So our API is going to look, our API URL is going to look something like this, but we have to fill in the city name and the API key, right? So if you go into here, my API keys, then you can copy this and simply replace it like that. And then with the city name, you can change it to whatever you want it to be. I'm gonna go ahead and create just a city variable so that we can, oops, if only I could type today. So let city equal, someone give me a city that they're in. Oh, I saw someone said slow down. Okay, sorry, I'm just now seeing that. Maybe if someone can give me the city, then I'll stop and we can kind of review what we have so far. Throw out a city, any city.
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. Okay. I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't know for sure with full confidence I know how to spell Minneapolis. So Minneapolis. I don't know if that's right, but Google will correct me. Okay, cool. I spelled it right. So we're going to go ahead and put in Minneapolis right now. So we can change this out by putting, instead of these quotes, we can put the little backtick that's over by the tilde on the keyboard. And we can then insert like variables into our string. So I know someone said to slow down. So we're gonna pause for a second and kind of talk about what we did. So the first thing that we did was we added this new span called weather into the HTML, because we know that we want on our page to say time, date, and then some sort of weather, right? Does that make sense to everybody so far? At least just that part alone? Can I see some like thumbs up or something? Let me see if I can make this bigger and see more people somehow. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. I'm gonna put you guys over here. Okay, so we have that, and then we created a weather.js file and we inserted it here, okay, at the bottom. And does anybody know why we put like our script tags at the bottom of the HTML? Does anybody know that? Or anybody want to guess? Okay, no worries. Basically, it makes sure that like everything loads up before we before this. Sorry, excuse me. Let me get a drink of water. Actually, let me so let me kind of back up. Something that my manager has told me is if you don't know something, then know it. And that's some advice that I thought was a little weird at first. I'm like, if I don't know something, how am I supposed to just know it? That doesn't make any sense. But basically, I think what he was trying to say is utilize all your resources to try to figure out something that you don't know. So for example, we can just check like, why are JavaScript or why are script tags oh gosh, if only I could type at the bottom. Why put script tags at the bottom? So and Google has almost all the answers you're looking for all the time. Well, not all the time, but most times. And so if you're ever curious about something or don't know how to do something, one of my first things is to like, okay, let me see if I can figure this out. Either Google it or ask somebody else that might know, or doing some like digging through the code to try to figure things out. So anyway, that's why. It was just a little bit of trivia. So we added this weather span. We added the JS file, and then we created something here. And what we did is we created this to connect to the span that we created in the HTML to make it say some weather stuff goes here, right? Eventually, we're going to actually put real weather stuff. And what we've done so far is create the API URL, which we got by looking at the API doc here. It says this is how you call the API. So we just copy and pasted that and filled in some information. Oops, did not mean to click that. Okay, so is everybody kind of caught up to like where we're at so far? Can I get some thumbs up or no's or
no?
Okay. I didn't really hear. I heard you unmute, but I didn't hear what you said. If you
I
actually
didn't
said
see
anything.
which link you grabbed for the current weather API.
Yeah, so in here, and I can throw it in the chat again, real quick.
No, like which of those three boxes do you take it from?
Oh, I just took the top one. Because if you'll notice, there's just different options for how you can find weather. So you can either find it by city name alone, or you could do city name and state code, or you could do city name, state code, country code. So we're just going to do city name to keep it simple. So I just copied the first one. And the city that we're going to be using as our example is Minneapolis, and can confirm I know how to spell that now. So okay, and the way that I did this is I put these into like the two little like backticks, which are on the top left corner of your keyboard, so that I could add some variables in there, or add a variable in there, which is the city, Minneapolis. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, I'm just going to copy some stuff that I did earlier and for the sake of time. Let's see where, if I can find it. I'm not going to explain all of this stuff just yet, because it's not super important at the moment. But I'll explain a little bit better soon. So this is stuff that I was like practicing before we started this call, just so like, because I haven't used JavaScript in a really long time, so I just wanted to make sure that I could help walk you through some of this stuff. So what we're going to do is kind of get rid of some of this stuff. Do start with. Okay, so this is the basic syntax for calling something, for calling an API with just plain vanilla JavaScript. And so don't worry about what all of this stuff is just yet. Just know that there's this thing called fetch, and it helps us get data from the API when we put the URL in. And in this section of the code, you can do stuff. You could do stuff with the data that's returned. So I'm gonna go ahead and just copy this into the chat real quick. I don't know, formatting might be a little funky, but you can at least copy that into your code. So let's take a look at the API to see what it actually is supposed to return. So if we use this first link here, which is inside of here, then we can actually go to a new tab, and we can change out this like city thing for, let me get the right spelling of Minneapolis, for Minneapolis, like that. All I did was replace the like $, open curly brace city, close curly brace. I replaced that with the actual name of the city. And so if I press enter, it's going to give me all of this information about the temperature in Minneapolis. So you could try this yourself. Has everyone gotten to this point where they can like see this on the screen? Or do I need to slow down a little bit? Does this, where's everybody at?
For those of you who don't have a key, I can create one right now and I'll send it out in the chat so you guys can use that as a key.
Okay, cool. That's helpful. But anyway, this is all the data that it has on the weather in Minneapolis for right now. And there's this website called JSON Formatter. JSON is just like this blob is JSON. It's just the format of like how it's structured. So if I go ahead and paste all that information in here and press process, then it'll show me like a little bit of a cleaner look for what all this data is trying to tell me. So it seems like in Minneapolis, there's a few clouds. and it looks like the temperature, this is something that's a little odd. It says that the temperature is 293 degrees. There was someone who lived in Minneapolis here, right?
I'm in Maple Grove.
Maple Grove?
Which is like 30 minutes away.
Okay, let's change this to say Maple Grove instead. And I'm going to copy this just so that we can kind of confirm some things. So I'm going to paste this in here instead of Minneapolis. Process. And now it says, okay, now it says there's a clear sky. And it still says like 293 degrees. Can you confirm?
Kelvins.
Okay, so yeah, that's a really good thought. Let's check out the documentation to see why it's like that. It looks like some of the parameters we did Q, which is the city name. We did app ID, which is the API key. And all of these are optional, so we didn't do them. But there's something called units here that we can add that has standard, metric, imperial, and these are all the different ways that we can get our units. So if we do imperial, which is the US version, we can go in here and add a new it's called a query parameter, which is just another another one of these, like how we added Q, we added app ID. Now we just have to add units. And the way you could do this is and then you could say units equals imperial. So we're going to do this. Some things changed, and now we're going to go ahead and look at it back in the JSON formatter to see if anything is different. So we're going to process it, and it looks like it's 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So that was a good catch. It was a different unit of measurement. So technically it wasn't wrong necessarily. And I think it was maybe it was kelvins instead of Celsius. I don't know. It just wasn't Fahrenheit. We know that because it wasn't 290 degrees Fahrenheit for you, I imagine. And so, yeah, so now we have all of this data on Maple Grove, right? And we can use some of this to show in our app, right? So what we want to do is we can do some stuff with this data that's responsive. So this variable data is the same exact thing. It's holding all of this information. So we can access this by doing like data dot something to get some sort of information. So for example, let's say that we wanted to show the temperature, right? It looks like if we collapse some of these things, it looks like there's coordinates, weather, base, and main. So if we do, if we just console log data, we should be able to see all of that stuff show up, but it's going to show up for Minneapolis. So let me change it to Maple Grove. And then do you guys know how to access the console, like inspect element? Does that sound familiar to you guys at all, or is that something new? I'm going to assume it's new. So if we go ahead and rerun this right now, and all I did was add this like console.log data, we can right click and hit inspect. And then when we do that, it'll open up this window on the side, and we can go to console. And something didn't work.
Heads up, the console is the replica console. You might need to open the preview page in a new window to see its actual console. Because replica is wrapping around it. So there's a button like here, just here.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yep.
Okay. It's not. Oh, all this like Zoom stuff is getting in the way. Let me see if I stop and then run. anything happens, because it's console logging this like didn't work thing. So I wonder, let's go ahead and wrap this into a function, just so that we can like really handle like when it's called. So I'm gonna call it get weather, and we're going to pass it in a city. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to say API URL equals, I guess I'll just say like get URL, and then pass in the city. And so then let me also X this out so there's more space so you guys can see what's happening here. And then I'm gonna make a separate thing called get URL. It's gonna take in a city, and it is going to return basically this. Let's see. Am I missing
function?
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay. I also, when you work in like a bunch of different languages, sometimes the syntax gets a little confusing. Okay, cool. And then also I'm missing it here as well. Okay, so we're going to do this, and then I'm going to just move this into this function here. Okay, cool. So now we could call this like get weather function here, and we can, oops, I thought I copied it. We could say get weather, and then you can put in a city. I'm gonna say just Maple Grove to keep it consistent with what we've been doing. Okay, so now when we call Maple Grove, what it should do is call this function, pass in Maple Grove as the city, get the API URL by passing it into here and returning this whole thing. It's going to go into this fetch method that we have here, and we should be able to see what all this data that we saw here, we should be able to see it in our console, assuming that I did this stuff right. So let me move this out the way. Can I collapse this? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so if I press stop, play. Dang, what happened here? Let's see. I I did this like about a few minutes before
HTTPS before the API URL.
Yes. Good catch. Okay. There we go. Okay, so there we go. All right, cool. Yeah, so now inside this console, we have all of this information about the weather, and it's the same exact information that we saw here. Well, I mean, maybe with a little bit of difference since some time has passed, depending on how much weather changes in Maple Grove. I've never been. But anyway, this means that, okay, we have this some weather stuff goes here. So we know that we can use this JavaScript to show something on the page. And now we also have data for the weather, right? Which is pretty cool. So we can, let's just say, let's just get the temperature out of this. So if I right click on this, I can copy object, and you can actually use this console to like do like JavaScript commands. So if I say like data is equal to, and then I just paste in all of this stuff after copying it, now I have access to data in here, and I can play around with like what kind of things I get. So for example, if we want the temperature, it looks like we're gonna have to do data.main.temp. And also another thing is this looks like it's still 293. So what we did before was just add this like units imperial thing to fix that. So if I add this to the end of this link, stop, and then run again, then we should have some new data that says 68.94 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what we want. So I'm gonna just copy this again. I'm gonna say data is equal to this, press enter, and now we have data. So if I do data.main.temp, boom, it says 68.94. I'm gonna slow down and pause. Are there any questions? Did I go too fast there? Is it super confusing or is it super cool? Either way, we can work with it. What are some of your guys' thoughts so far? Anybody?
I've never worked with Java, so this is all new to me.
Okay, that's totally fine. Yeah, so has anyone seen something like some sort of structure like this before? Some languages call them dictionaries, some languages call them like hash maps. There's all kinds of different things. I'll stick with dictionary just because it makes sense to me. Like a dictionary, or well, okay, how about this? Yes or no, do people understand what a dictionary is in like code? Have you guys heard that word before? Yes, no, I see some head nods. So basically, a dictionary is a type of data structure, which it just means it's a way of holding your data, right? Like for example, you guys know about variables, right? And you guys know about like different like like strings or numbers or like different things like that. So a dictionary is just a different type of like data structure, and it allows you to have key pair values, which means one thing is the key, the thing to the left on each of these is the key, and then it has a value. Let's pretend that we have like a, let's pretend you guys have a store. What kind of store would you guys want to have? Just any example, anything in the world. Someone give me an example of type of store.
I'm going here and say candy.
Candy store. Okay, awesome. So let's say that we have, let's create a dictionary of key pair values for our candy store. So I'm gonna create a variable called candy store. Oh, store. And it's going to, and in our candy store, we're going to have, let's say gum, and I'm going to put this as a string. Let's say gum is $2, okay? And then what's another kind of candy? Give me something.
Twix.
Chocolate.
Okay, Twix. Then how much is a Twix?
Like $2.49 for a king size, maybe.
Okay, 249. Cool. Let's get one more. Someone give me one more thing.
Trolley sour gummy worms.
Okay, I'm gonna say gummy worms. And then how much is that gonna be?
$3.
Okay. So we have this candy store has gum, Twix, and gummy worms. It's a pretty lame candy store, but sometimes you just gotta work with what you got. So now I have this thing called candy store where I can check the value of like I could check the price of some sort of candy, right? So I can do candy store dot and let's say Twix, and it'll spit out $2.49. Or I could do candy store dot gum. Oops. Oh, candy store. Whoops. Okay, candy store dot gum, and it'll say it's $2. And so how might we find the price of gummy worms? Can someone help me out? I actually don't know how this is going to work with the space, to be honest. So let's go ahead and, but I mean, do you guys get the concept? Basically, you do candy store dot the thing, and then it will spit out whatever the value is, right? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So the same thing goes here with all of this weather data. And so, you know, obviously it's not a candy store, but it still has key pair values. So if we, the same way we did candy store dot gum, we can do candy store is equal to, and we could say gum, but then I don't actually know if I need to set these to strings or not, but I'm not going to see what happens. But we can nest these, and we could say there's different types of gum, right? So maybe there's, I don't know, Trident gum, and that is, I'll just say $2. And then there's like 5 gum, right? And we're just gonna say it's $5 just cause. And then I don't know, and I haven't had bought gum in a while. I really don't remember what all the different types are, but I'm just gonna say other gum. That's just gonna be 50 cents because no one knows what it is. So if we have this, now we could do candy store dot gum dot Trident, or we could do candy store dot gum dot 5. And so because it's nested, we would have to have like multiple like dot this, dot that, right? And so that's how we're able to, the same way we can access like these different things in the candy store, we can access this different data in for like the weather information that's returned. So with that being said, I also want to be conscious of time. With that being said, we have all of this data in here that we want, and what we want is the temperature, right? So if we look back to see like what it was, it's data.main.temp is how we can get the temperature, right? So we can say, we can even console.log it, and we could say data.main.temp, right? And now when we open up the like inspect element again and go into console, then when we start and stop this, it says 68.58 degrees, right? And so cool. We have some text on the page. We have the temperature that we want. Now we just have to get the temperature on the actual page, right? So we can copy this here, right? And we can just paste it in here instead of this console.log. We're gonna say equals, oops, it won't let me scroll out. Let me X this out. There we go. Equals data.main.temp. And we're gonna get rid of this. And so now when we stop and start, we're gonna have 68.56, right? But that's just a number. We don't know like what that means, right? So we can add maybe a little bit more information to it. So we can say like the temperature in this city is blank, right? So we can actually create similar to how I believe in here there's something for this, like, see how it's there's a bunch of different variables that are like right next to each other. We could do something like this if we would like, and say that, I'm just gonna paste this and change it up as we need it. So I can say the temp in, and then to use a variable, it's just the $, and then these curly braces. And city is, and then we can do $, curly brace. We could say data dot, what was it, main dot temp, and get rid of all of these extra things. Oops. Okay, so if we stop and run it again, then we see the temp in Maple Grove is 68.56. And we could also add the little like F there too, so that people know it's Fahrenheit. And you can check out what all of this other, like what other things are given as like the response for the API. So all of the different things you can work with. It looks like there's this little icon here in weather, and then it's an array icon. So we can also even do something like, we can do like function get weather icon and give it like the data that we're collecting, and we can create HTML right in here. So we can say there's something like called an image tag, which is similar to like your like H1 or P or a bunch of other different things, and it takes in a source. And there is, let me see if I can find the, I'm gonna just copy some stuff that I had from before as well. Just for sake of time. So we can say in here, icon, or icon is going to be equal to data dot, and then where was it? It was weather 0 icon. So weather 0 dot icon. And then it will return this like this image here. And so we can even say get weather icon, pass in the data, and then add that. So I don't know if this is actually going to work. Things don't often work the first time I try. Okay, cool. There's a little sun there. I think that's a sun because it's hot, or because it's clear skies, sorry. But it looks like it's a little like, it's not like centered, which is a little weird. So we can go into the like CSS and edit some things in here in order to get it to be like more level. And we can also cut out some of the text in here too, because more often than not, you're going to know what city you're in already. So we can go in here and get rid of some of this stuff and just say like the get weather data or get weather icon, pass in the data plus the actual temperature. And we can even wrap some of this stuff in a into a like a div so that we can give it like an ID or a class similar to how you guys already have like this, and then call it in the JavaScript. So we can maybe even make something called like display data, and then I guess we would just give it data, and we can return, and then now it's just straight HTML, which tends to be a bit easier than JavaScript. And we can give it a like a class called like weather container, which is where all of our weather information is going to be held. And in here, we can call all of this stuff. So we can say, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. $ that to call stuff inside. And then we can also just copy this as well. That's not what I wanted to do. Cool. And then inside of the weather container, we can do some things to in here. So I just did inline, flex, and center, which you don't need to know exactly what these things do right now, but just know that it'll help center everything. And so now all I need to do is call this display data. Oh, what happened here? I thought I pasted this. If I didn't, I meant to. Okay, yeah. So now what we can do is just call this display data. And do that. So now the weather is going to show like this display data, which gives us our div and the weather icon and the temperature. And then there we go. Now we have this. And we can also change the city to anywhere we want. So we can say like Seattle, and it's going to be, maybe this is not going to work the way that I thought. Is it? Okay. Maybe Seattle is similar temperature. We can say I'm in San Antonio, for example. San Antonio, Texas right now. And it's cloudy. So the little clouds, it changed to like a cloud. You can say, give me a city that someone lives in right now, that someone's in right now. Anybody living in a city right now?
To do Belleville.
Okay. Bellevue, you said?
Belleville, so B-L-L-E.
Oh, okay. B-L-L-E.
Yes.
Gotcha. And then Ville, is it one word?
Yep.
Is that how you?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So if we run this, then it says that it's 43 degrees and it's cloudy. So now we have a little weather thing that shows here with a little icon that changes depending on what the weather looks like. And it was about a little over 30 lines of code inside of this. I know that some of this went kind of fast, but are there any questions? Or like anything at all that you're curious about, or maybe did this get you thinking about some ideas of other things you can add? I just kind of want to hear from you guys because I know I did a lot of talking. Any questions? It also doesn't have to be specifically about the weather thing. It could be about life as a software engineer, or what I had for breakfast this morning, or I don't know. Any questions at all?
What did you have for breakfast this morning? Tell us.
I had boiled eggs and half a bagel. So not much, but it was tasty. I got some this like vegetable spread cream cheese thing to put on top of it, and it was just, oh, it's delicious. Thanks for asking a question though. It's
yeah, big bro.
But okay, but a question I have for you guys, were you able, I know that there's some parts that I went through kind of fast, like where the heck did I even get this, like this link from? So honestly, but like I said before I hopped on this call, I like looked around at this API to see like all of what it could do. And on this website somewhere, I don't remember exactly where, it says like how to access the like images, like these like little icons. So that's how I got that. And in case that was a question, I don't know if were you guys able to like follow well, or was it like, did I make things even more confusing, or do you feel like this was like at least a good place for you to like start figuring some things out and like adding other things? I know I used a lot of functions, a lot of jargon of like, oh, like there's dictionary and function and API, and like there's a lot of big words that maybe could have been confusing. But is there anything else that I can kind of help go over or review from what we have that you don't quite understand? Or anything that you thought was like really awesome or really not awesome? I'm okay with constructive feedback. And I hope that this was also maybe like a good way to kind of like see inside the head of a software engineer as they're like building out stuff. Like I tried my best to start simple, right? Like we just want to see something on the page first, then we want to get the data, then we want to combine it to, you know, show the data.
Yeah, I think this is a really good like diving deep down into, because the way we did it yesterday for context Kedron, we wrote a, if you go into utils.js, we just wrote a I wrote a helper method for them just to get the data directly. So we directly skipped over the head of all the API stuff.
I see.
So
okay,
I think this is really good. This is a really good example of actually like jumping right into it and see like what it's like. And I don't think like it was that bad. Like I was concerned yesterday about how complicated it might be to explain this. But I think this one actually helped a little bit with understanding how APIs actually work. Because yesterday was like a pretty much a sugar coat of what was actually going on.
Yeah. I'm glad that's helpful. Something that I do sometimes is just like before actually calling an API, like in my code, I'll like paste the link here. Also know that not all APIs are like called via link like this, but there are some that are out there that do. So I'll like try to just like see and understand like, okay, what kind of data am I getting? Use this JSON formatter to like just see it better. It's the same information, but it's a little bit like prettier. Kind of helps me to understand, because it's almost like just like a glorified function in a way, right? Like you give it data and it spits some more data out, you know? So I know some of these concepts can feel really complicated and hard to understand, but I think just sitting down and understanding like line by line, like how this stuff even works, especially talking through it with someone who does know better, can be really helpful. So I also want to, oh, wow. I saw there's 20 things in the chat. I did not see this as I was going. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, were there any questions? Oh man, I'm sorry. I did not mean to go so fast. Oh man, I wish someone had said something. I'm so sorry, you guys. When I'm sharing my screen, the chat is like hidden away in the little like share screen options thing, so I don't look at it as much as like when I'm not sharing my screen. But I hope that with this code, and I think I can also share this. Let's see, copy link. I'm gonna go ahead and paste this in the chat so that you guys have access to this code. And so hopefully after this, you can kind of like keep it for yourself, put it into your projects, and maybe try to understand it better. or I mean, since there's going to be office hours, you can also, at least you have something to start with like this, and you can ask questions specifically on the things that like you don't quite understand, you know? So I'm so sorry for going super fast, but there's also very limited time as well. So I tried to make sure that we could at least get an actual like feature on the page, you know, within the time. But yeah, I mean, if there's no other questions, I can let you guys go a little early. And yeah, you can also, let me go ahead and put my contact info in here as well.
If people are just trying to catch the information being sent in the chat, I'm storing them, and I'll post them on Discord and Fellow Central later.
Okay. So yeah, so definitely feel free to contact me. You know, if you ever have any questions or like some like career or college advice or anything like that, I'm more than happy to help. And you know, take some time aside to help you guys out. So I hope that this was helpful. I enjoyed being able to get into the code with you guys. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. Before you go, actually, like I have one like last question that I want to ask every speaker. Like, what is a general piece of advice that you have for like I guess high schoolers of 10th, 11th grade ish, and like, or what is like one thing that you kind of wish you did when you were their age?
I think something I would say is to definitely shoot high, like aim high, shoot big, you know, and to not be discouraged when something doesn't come so easily to you. I did a similar program to this, but it was only like 2 or 3 weeks. It was at Google in Boston. And they like rapid fire went over like, this is what an API is, this is what JavaScript is, this is what Python is, blah, blah, blah. Almost like what I kind of did with you guys, but over the span of 3 weeks, like every day, Monday through Friday. And I was like, what is this? Like, I'm not cut out for this. It can't be me. I don't know how any of this works. I still don't understand what an API, what does API even stand for? What is like, how do I know like blank pages, like when you open a new file and don't have anything in there and need to fill out, that was the scariest thing to me, because I was like, I have no idea where to start. I don't know what to do. This is super hard. This is super confusing. But I also want you guys to understand that like this stuff, it's not super easy. It is challenging and it is tough. And I don't say that to like scare you or discourage you, but I want you guys to be aware that like, don't be so hard on yourself if some of this stuff doesn't like come super quick to you. You know, it definitely takes time to practice and to talk through some things, to really think through some things, to learn this stuff. And so, you know, with that being said, I just definitely encourage you to like not let the like frustration or confusion get to you, you know, to keep pushing through that, to keep learning, to keep trying, because it definitely pays off if you do.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for sharing with us, Kedron. And we're probably going to send out, Megan and I are going to talk after this, and we're going to potentially put together a survey about the workshop. I know we recently have been going through a lot of things, and Kedron, we're also really happy to share with you if we have any results for you to that you can like, you know, just take reference of. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. And enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yeah. See ya. And everyone else, I think we're just gonna leave it here too. Yeah, we're gonna just let me stop recording first.